So today I'm going to be making a shirt, believe it or not. I'm going to be making a shirt using my Artesprix products, and I'm hoping this is going to turn out pretty cool. I don't have a lot of practice yet, but that's one of the reasons I'm doing this video right now. I'm thinking that the design I'm picking right now should be fairly easy to create a really cool shirt. I'm getting the design actually from Design Bundles, so that's why I've got this page pulled up. So I'm going to do a quick search. Actually under free designs, because there are a lot of freebies. There are a lot of other things that are not free, but there are quite a few free designs. I mean, look at this. Right now, the first page you come up with is a ton of Christmassy designs, because it's right now Christmas Eve while I'm making this. So first off, I'm going to do a search for fish, because the person I want to do one for loves fish, and I really like this first design. Already picked it out, I've already pulled it up. So to get that, it is super easy. Again, you just go to Design Bundles, click up here where it says free designs, and do a search for what you're looking for, or just browse and see all the fun things that they've got. So the one I'm going to do is the one that says wishing I was fishing. So that is what I'm doing. So to get the design, you just click free download. If you want to share it, there is a link here, and I will put that down in the description for you guys in this video. But this is the design we're going to be using, and you just click download free now. And it lets you put it into your computer wherever it is you're storing it. So I've got a digital downloads folder. This specific folder is for just things from Design Bundles, so I know who I got it from when it comes to any kind of copyright or accreditation I need to do, and I know exactly whether or not I have got the proper authority to use a design. So that's how I'm organizing mine. You may have a different system, but this is what's working great for me. So when you download it, it does show up as a zip file. So I am just going to tell it I want to extract it into a folder with the same name. So I keep any and all files that come with that one in the same place. Let's go ahead and do that, and let's take a look. Is this one? And so here are the different things in here. We do have a folder file that is specifically for the licensing, so you have all of the details there. They've got a recommended or an image kind of giving you an idea. They've got it as a JPEG, they have a PNG, and they have it as an SVG. I'm probably going to be using mine as an SVG, I think. My thought at this point is to have my cutting machine draw it for me, and then I can color it in with my markers from Artesprix. So I've got a couple of different cutting machines that I can try using with this. I don't know if it's going to work with my Cricut Joy or not because of how small it is. And again, this is a shirt, but it may. So I'm going to attempt and see if that works first. So I have put in a template into Cricut Design Space. It's up here where it says templates. And this is not showing on the screen. Let me adjust that real quick. Okay, so up here on the left-hand bar, we've got something that says templates. So you can select the templates and say what you want to do. I went into where it says fashion, because it lets you pick which type, so it's easier to find what you're looking for. And I found just a standard classic t-shirt. So that is what I added to my canvas. This is just a template. It's not going to be part of my end design. It's just giving me kind of a placeholder to know where to put everything. So next I'm going to upload the image of that we just downloaded. So I'm going to the upload button and then hitting upload image. And then I will go back into my folder. Let's see if I can find it again. Digital downloads and Design Bundles, and this one was the Wishin' for Fishin'. And I'm just going to pull in the SVG. Okay, so that is the design I'm wanting to do. And hit upload, and then I'm going to add that to the canvas. That's this little button down in the bottom right hand corner, which I've lost a couple of times. And here we go. We've got that design right there. So we could have it really nice and big on there, or we could have it a little bit smaller. I think I want it a little bit smaller. So I think this one is probably going to be about the right size. I do need to double check the size of the shirt to make sure that the measurements are right, but this is saying 11.71 by 10.39 inches, which means it is too big for my Cricut Joy because my Cricut Joy has a small little thing. I could probably do the individual pieces, but I'd really rather have it all on one sheet so that I can, you know, color it up. I also may cut this down a little bit more so that it'll fit on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper or cardstock. Let's go ahead and do that, I think. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. This is a way that you could do it in Cricut if you have a machine that will work with that size paper. My Joy will not, so that means I'm going to be doing it instead with my Scan and Cut. So this is my Canvas workspace. I don't believe there's any templates per se, but I do see on this first page, since we are talking about doing a t-shirt, one of the first things I see is there is a t-shirt design here. I'm going to look at that and see if it's something where it gives me an idea of sizing and see if that works. I'm probably just going to have to measure the t-shirt and see how much of that 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper I'm going to need to use to get the design kind of where I want it. And based on this recipe, it doesn't have that available. So I am instead just going to go back in and start a new project and go ahead and upload that, that SVG just like we did before. So I hit the, let me go back, hit the SVG button up here at the top and then choose File. And then we can go back into that folder again. I just have to find it again. It's on my E drive. I've got a lot of different drives on my computer just because I have so much stuff I'm doing. We're going back into design bundles and back into that same design bundles folder. And we're going to take the SVG, click on that, and we're going to add that to our canvas in Canvas Workspace. So you can see this is a pretty big. It is a big design. So I'm going to do a real quick I'm going to do a quick measure on the shirt to see how big that one actually is and see how large I need this to be. And I will be right back. Okay, so the design I think needs to be probably 10 inches or a little bit less wide. This is me guesstimating because I don't do a lot of shirts. But it also means give it a shot, guys. You got to try it before you're going to know. So I'm selecting all of the things on my Canvas workspace and I am going to group them. Right clicking on the side and then just clicking group because I want everything to stay the same and stay right where it is. Okay. Then I'm going to make it smaller. Right now it is saying that is right around 10 inches. That says 9.95. So that's probably okay. I think I'm going to make it 9.5. I'm afraid of it being too big. So I'm just going to change the width size to 9.5. I'm also maintaining aspect ratio so that it doesn't change, you know, it doesn't skew it. It doesn't make it too short or too wide. I want everything to basically stay the same, just be a little bit smaller. So 9.5. Okay, so just brought it in just a touch. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of cardstock because I like the way that the markers and everything work on cardstock better. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put this into my Scan and Cut onto the mat and we're going to draw this. So let's go. First, I'm going to go ahead and save this. Save the project title so I can use it again later if I want. And I'm going to call it Wishin'. Yep, doesn't want to do special characters. Okay, so Wishin' I was fishin'. And we're just going to save it right here where it says overwrite this project. And then I'm going to download it to my machine. So just click the big download button. And it's going to ask you how you want to transfer it. So you can download it to your PC, but, you know, put it on a USB stick, whatever. I'm going to actually send it straight over to my Scan and Cut. And I'm doing this over Wi-Fi. There's also where you can do it over a USB if you have that one connected. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that one. And it is going to send it over to my Scan and Cut machine. So I'm placing my cardstock up at the top. And I'm going to be honest, looking back at the design, I do see that it actually is, looks like it's right at 8.5 by 11. So I think I'm actually going to take the last word just do the drawing of the first two on one sheet and then do a second piece of cardstock for the other. Another thing I need to do that I didn't show already, let's switch back, is I need to mirror this thing. Otherwise, it's not going to be right side up. And I just thought of that because this is one of the things that I do forget. So I'm going to select the whole thing. So I've selected the entire image. Now I go up to Edit, and that's where you're going to be able to flip it. So I've got this piece that says flip, and this that is basically going to go horizontal, and the other one is vertical. So I'm just going to hit the flip button. It's the same thing as the mirror. So now it's backwards. That is exactly what I want. So that way it's going to print on here, not print, it's going to draw onto my cardstock in the opposite direction so that when I press it, it will be the right direction on my shirt. Now that I have everything basically grouped together and sized the way I want it, I'm going to have to ungroup it. If it stays grouped, once I get it into my machine, I'm not going to be able to delete parts of it. And this is one where I want to be able to delete that last word. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click up here into Edit. I'm going to ungroup. And then I'm only going to group it as to 2 bits. I'm going to group the top bit because I want to keep all of that. Go again into Edit and Group. And then I'm going to take this bottom bit because, again, I want to do it as a separate one. And then I'll put everything together when we're doing our transfer. So I'm going to do that one and, again, hit Edit and Group. So now when I send the design over, it should go as 2 separate images that I can delete one or the other. So we're going to hit Download and transferring that over to the machine. So now we're over at the Scan and Cut machine. I'm going to click Retrieve Data and the cloud. And it's going to transfer it. It's going to bring it up out of the memory onto the screen so that we can work with it. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm going to click Edit. And it's showing, I went ahead and highlighted one of those. So the one here at the bottom is the full word, and that's the one we want to delete at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Delete and OK. And next we're going to get our markers ready. This is the one we need. This is one that you could use any marker in. This one you use the special little ones, the markers that come with that housing. So these little ones will fit in this smaller piece. This is going to be required for this one to go in. So let's go ahead and load that up. And this dial here is what makes it so it's looser or tighter. So the pin housing just slides right in, right there. And then you can put your marker so that or pin, so that it basically just touches. And then this piece here, this gray, is where you're going to tighten it down. And it's where you kind of lift it up a little bit and turn it till it is snug. And looks like I just pulled it out a little bit, so let's try it again. Okay, and now I can put this into my machine over here. It's just going to slide right in, and you use the little clamp. So now I can tell my machine to draw. So what we're going to do, we're going to say OK, so the design is OK where it is. Then we're going to hit OK again, because we've already, actually before we do that, I'm going to real quick just scan in my paper and make sure everything is lined up like I expect it to. I've got everything measured, so it should be fine. The design should come to about here at the 10-inch mark and a little bit below the 6-inch mark. So we're going to scan that in. You'll be able to see it better if you're using like a colored cardstock, but we're not doing that today. So we can see that the paper is completely surrounding the entire image. I do think I want to have it come over just a touch, so I'm going to hit Edit, select it all, and then I'm going to use this one to move it over a little bit. I think I'm going to move it over, and I'm going to move it down. There is a stylus that comes with everything, but I don't always use it. I'm just basically pulling it away from the edges some, just in case there's any issue. There shouldn't be, but just in case. Okay, so now I'm going to hit OK. So we are all good there. Hit OK again, And now we can go into this part. So we could either add or edit or whatever. I'm good there. So hitting OK one more time. So here is our design. It's all ready to go on the grid. We're going to hit please select, and I'm going to tell it to draw. So now it's going to draw all of those little lines. It's going to be doing the outline of everything, which means we will be coloring it all in manually. So let's go ahead and hit start. And we're going to let it do its thing. And because this is using one of the sublimation markers from Artesprix, this design that is currently being drawn on there will be transferred when we go to press it. The entire design. Now you could do this in just a regular like pencil or something, because that won't transfer, and then color it in if you want like a no line drawing. In this case, I'm kind of just wanting the whole outline, and I'm going to color it all in with the black Artesprix ink. Okay guys, here's something that I realized a long time after I did this. Did you know that the Scan and Cut can actually fill everything in for you? Yes, it can color all of this in. So I gave myself extra work by just drawing the outline. I could have had the Scan and Cut do all the drawing and all the coloring for me. So that would have saved me some time. But it did give me a chance to do a little bit of extra coloring and put my own, I don't know, my own effort into creating this shirt for my father-in-law. So I think that looks pretty good. So now I just need to put a second piece of cardstock down and do the rest of the design. Basically the same exact way. So before taking the time to fill everything in, I decided, you know, I should probably see if it's about the right size for the shirt. I think it's a little bit small, but it's as big as my cardstock will do. Basically means I need bigger paper or do it in more pieces, but I think this is still going to work. So I'm going to go with it. So next step is, once the other part is finished drawing, I'm going to color all of the outlines, and I might add a little bit more color. I haven't decided 100% yet, but I think this is going to look super cool. This time, so that I can save some time coloring it, I'm using one of the regular ones that's got a chisel nib. That's going to make it so I can put more ink down faster. And I'm just going to fill in all of these, putting a decent layer on there, because I have found that sometimes the markers are not quite as, they don't transfer quite as dark as I want. I want this to be a dark black. So I'm probably going to do 2 layers. Just going to fast forward through this bit because, yeah, it's just boring. But this also means you can draw any design that you want, whether it's having your machine do it or doing it by hand, and color it in to create a fun sublimatable design. So you can do this without a printer. Yes. So I am going to trim this down a little bit. Number one, we don't want this little test mark to show, and I want to know exactly where the design is when I'm taping it down to my shirt. So I'm going to trim around the edges, and now I'm going to line them up so that I can position them together where I think I want them to be, and grab out my heat resistant tape to tape them together on the back. On the front, I'm just going to use some Best Ever Craft tape temporarily. I'm going to take this off once I get the tape on the back. So I'm going to say that this is where I want it. So I'm going to just tape those together, again, temporarily. And double check the positioning. And that looks straight. Okay, great. Now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to use my heat resistant tape to hold everything together and put it onto the shirt. And I've also got these t-shirt rulers. I got these off of Amazon. I'll leave a link down below. Again, I'm trying to use my grids on my desk to help me with this. So I've got it basically lined up at the top, right? So now I can put this in the middle. And so that's going to be the center. Another way to make sure you've got the center is to press it with the center. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go take this over to my heat press, fold it in half, and that way it'll give me a crease down the middle so I will know exactly where the center is. Okay, so now we have our crease down the middle. I can add my t-shirt ruler there, and then we can add our design. So I'm going to have it. I know that this part down here is basically a straight line across. So means that this is a little bit at an angle there. Okay, I think that is close enough. And I'm going to go ahead and tape this down well on my shirt. Okay, so I think I've got it taped down well enough where it's not going to shift. So let's go ahead and take this over to my heat press again, and we're going to go ahead and press it. It may need, I think there's enough space on my press for it to do with just the one area, just pressing once, but I might need to actually press it twice, so we will see. So I've got some protective paper underneath. I did use this a moment ago to basically just to get that crease on there. So let's see if I can get this onto my press. And it looks like there is just enough space on here for the whole thing. And I do want the image, this piece, to be up towards the heat. The heat is here, so that's where that needs to be. I'm going to put another layer down. And my heat press is set right now at right around 400. And I did look up online for polyester shirt. This is actually not a typical blank. This is one that was bought at a store because the fit is nice and it's 95% polyester. So let's go ahead, and I'm doing this based on the instructions on the time and temperature that I found online, which is around 400 degrees for 40 seconds. I think it's in between 400 and 410 and 40 to 45 seconds or 35 to 45 seconds. So I'm kind of going in the middle there. This should be fine. And we will see. We're just going to wait till it beeps. Okay, so fingers crossed. While it's sitting here, I'm going to take a little quick sneak peek. And we do see that there is some ink under there, and it looks really nice and dark and black, which is good. So let's go ahead and take this over to my desk, and we will unveil it. Okay, so let's take a look. Oh, so the word fishing turned out good. Awesome. Let's take off the rest. And there we go. I think that turned out fabulous. Yay! Okay, so that's going to finish up this video. You guys have a wonderful day. Be sure to check out the playlist to see some more videos where I'm using Artesprix products, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.